right, first up this morning, a Facebook post from one of our own that has people all over the country fired up. And before we tell you what it's all about, both Molly and I are going to tell you that some viewers can say some pretty harsh things about people who are on TV.
Yeah, absolutely. A few weeks ago, today's TMJ4 Daybreak anchor Susan Kim got a note from a viewer who said Susan looked pregnant in a dress she was wearing, especially when she held her scripts a certain way below her belly. Well, Susan took this picture of herself that day and posted it along with a reply. She first said she wasn't offended and thanked the viewer for her feedback, but later the comment made her feel a little bit sad.
Yeah, and hundreds of people weighed in on Facebook about that post, and tens of thousands of people viewed that response. So today, we invited Susan to join us with her thoughts on the post that's gone viral and find out how she feels about the impact that she's had, especially on women. Because that's why you posted this. I think one of the neat things that you kept responding to people as they were complimenting you on your post is that, hey, let's bring it back to the issue. This isn't about me. This is about what people hold women to as a standard, and that seems to be the direction that you really want to discuss, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to open it up to a conversation because obviously the subject about how people view women and how women view themselves, it's not necessarily a new thing, but I feel like a lot of stride has been made in terms of just educating people about healthy body image, educating girls about having a healthy body image. And then to have that comment from a viewer about my body just kind of brought it back like, hey, have we not really come that far? Are our standards still really high? Do women have to look perfect, whether it's your neighbor or whether it's somebody you watch on TV? Do they have to have that perfect body image to not get a criticism or to not get that kind of comment that, hey, you look pregnant, or you know, it could have been something else. But I think we've all heard that as women, and it's just not fair, because I think as women we try to be healthy, we try to do our best. We're busy, we're juggling things, and why do we have to be perfect to be void of criticism from others?
You know, I have so many thoughts about this, but you know, there's so many articles written after celebrities have babies about how quickly they lose the baby weight, and then how quickly they can get in a bikini and look fantastic and have a flat stomach. And I think a lot of people who have babies end up feeling really bad when they compare themselves to standards that they just simply can't achieve. And I was thinking about your post, and one of the things that you so honestly shared was that you've had 3 kids. I have 2, but you gained 50 to 60 pounds with each one of your pregnancies. You also, with your second, were on steroids, and so you even said, I had this big flap of skin I'll never get rid of because of it. And I just thought it was so honest and genuine. Why did you decide to reveal so much about yourself and your experience with your pregnancies?
Well, I think sometimes it's too much, right? But I feel like in this case it kind of lended itself to that, because I'm comfortable with how I look, and I think that a lot of moms out there feel really good about themselves. I mean, having kids and gaining weight and losing the weight and just trying to be a healthy person, I mean, that's quite a feat. And so I feel good about where I'm at in my life, and I think other moms do feel good about themselves. And so I felt like it was important to share this piece of information, because maybe that's why this viewer felt I looked like I was pregnant, and I shouldn't hold my scripts a certain way if I didn't want people to notice that bulge or flap or, whatever phrase
so maybe
you
unconsciously you were trying to cover that area and you didn't even realize it, do you think?
No,
or no?
I mean,
you just
I think
I
was just, that's the way I stand. And so I guess it's more that, okay, so if I'm fine with how I look, I've had 3 kids, and I'm in my late 40s, what do I have to look like to not get that kind of criticism? And not just me, other women too. I mean, there are a lot of moms out there who have had kids, and and they look great. So why isn't that enough? Why can't we just say you look great, as opposed to, oh, this or that, or I see a little bit of flab over there? I mean, really, I think as women we should all just be happy that we're moms and we're working and we're doing a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 issues I think we should talk about. First, women and women. First, because I don't, one thing, we talk about this a lot. In TV, you get a lot of comments like that where people say, oh my gosh, you look so much better in person. TV's not good to you. And then it's like, oh, was that rude? yeah, it kind of was. You know, so I mean, people know, they just sort of, verbal, say things that they don't really think about how it's going to sound sometimes until they say it. But this was a written comment, and it was from a woman. And one of the things that, Molly and I talk about, and something that I stand really strong for, is the fact that women need to be responsible responsible for what they do to other women. They need to support other women, empower other women instead of break them down. I think it speaks to this fact that that comment was from a female and it wasn't from a man. Do you think that in general women need to watch how they judge other women? Is that part of the issue too?
I think so, and I think that, you know, as women, we all try to be positive of each other and try to send a positive message, because I, like you, I mean, I want us to build each other up, support each other, you know, mentor each other, whatever it is, whatever word you want to describe. And so I do think that that's a little surprising, because the same viewer also said to compliment Vince on his tie, and that just made me laugh. But then I was flabbergasted at the same time. It's like, you know, Vince, my co-anchor, and it was, you know, okay, so you took the time to notice how I look in a negative way, but then you want to make sure to tell my male co-anchor. And I don't know that, you know, this viewer was thinking about it in that way. And, you know, it's one of the many great things about being on the air. People feel like they know you. And so, and we love that. But at the same time, there are some things that, as women, I think we should just take a second and just be like, okay, well, let's try to stay positive and not take, you know, the time to kind of beat each other up a little bit.
Well, I think that people who are on television or put themselves in the public eye in whatever way that they do, that there's this understanding out there, this unspoken understanding that you can go ahead and criticize people, and that you're kind of, you know, you have this thick skin and that it doesn't affect how you feel about yourself. And one of the things that I think is fascinating about this is, in person, you're an extremely petite, small person. And so it's, for so many people who work here, it was just so shocking that someone would be critical of you. And a lot of people ended up complimenting you, like, oh, I think you're beautiful, you're a classy woman, you're extremely small. And people who work here know how petite and small you are, but that's not really the point. I know, and I know you weren't looking for compliments, but, you know, articles have been written. I know you were on Charlie Sykes' show talking about this. So many people responded, and I wonder, did it affect how you feel about yourself at all? And did you ever hear from that viewer who posted the initial or asked that question on Facebook initially?
Yeah, I mean, she did respond the next day after she saw the comments starting to pour in with that post, and, you know, she apologized and said that she didn't mean for me to take it that way, and that she thinks that I do a good job, which is very nice. But I just, you know, it's just the initial comment. I think that we all just have to take a step back as women and men or whoever, and think, do we really need to be negative about something like that? And really, what is the perception of that you have of what people should look like? I mean, you know, the Today Show is doing this great series, and they did a survey that found 80% of teenage girls criticize themselves to another person at least, you know, once a month. And so, you know, as moms of daughters, you know, you want your girls to grow up with a positive body image, and that doesn't have to be Hollywood perfect. It can just be, as long as you're healthy and you're happy with who you are, that's what's important. And I think that really was something that I wanted to get across. It's really how you feel about yourself, if you're good with it, and teaching our daughters to have a healthy image of how they look and what is a healthy woman and what that woman should be like.
And I think it starts with not criticizing ourselves, particularly in front of our kids, which I think is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Great points. Coming up after the break, we're going to continue the conversation with Susan. We've also invited a body image expert to join us. And we're going to share a test that shows how people really feel about their bodies.